feel free to join me if you will. I'd recommend it. You don't have to do exactly the moves I'm doing. There's no real rhyme or reason. I mean, there's some rhyme or reason. But I just found getting my morning started kind of with my pre-workout stretching. Gonna try one of these. This reminds me of running. Oh, that hurts. Haven't run in a long time. Don't know if this is still good for you, but if you go slow, it probably is. There are a lot of cracks in these old hips. Oh, there goes another one. The cracks feel really good. I was thinking about track this morning. My daughter Morgie has a track meet tonight, sectionals. And she's just a freshman, so it's pretty cool that she's running in a varsity track meet. But I was thinking of her running. Then I was thinking about the rain. Woke to some thunder this morning, which is kind of neat, actually. But I've been riding my scooter for the last few weeks in preparation for my big trip out west. And must say, the sound of the rain, thinking about going to her track meet was a little stressful. And I caught myself being stressed first thing in the morning. Oh, this feels so good. This is my favorite yoga position. It's Trikonasana. And it really stretches your hamstring and kind of here and kind of your arms and your chest. We're going to go to the floor just for a little bit, because why wouldn't we? It's my show. Whether you guys want to see me talking about coffee, downward dog. I don't know if there's a most important position in yoga. Probably not a very yogic way to think. Most important. Anything. Oh, it feels so good. And I'm sure they all have a meaning and a reason. Chipbot will get home safely. Now we're just going to sit here for a minute or so and finish up my stretching on my legs. Open up the groin with that one. Hamstrings on the right side. Wearing my sandals, my slippers. Looks kind of funny. Hamstring on the left side. I go a lot slower through my stretching than I used to. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm going slower through life. I think I am. I think as we age, we slow down. And I don't mean physically or mentally even. I mean just spiritually. And we catch ourselves, and maybe we catch ourselves in an anxious moment or a bit of worry or fear, and we go, It's the way life is sometimes. Let's relax. I'm going to do a couple more just because these feel really good and they crack my back. I don't know if these are yoga or have a name. But they feel really good. Skip the happy baby today. Almost didn't do much stretching because today's a workout day. And as I was waking up, getting ready to get my day started and take on the morning and pour myself some coffee. Thought about not starting with stretching today. Good morning, Albert. Thought about not starting stretching this morning because, I'm going to be at the gym later and doing my workout, and I do a pretty good stretch. But it's not really about the fact that I'm going to be at the gym later and stretching later. It's about that this is a good habit, and this is a great way to start my morning, and this is going to help me avoid injury, and this is going to get me mentally in the place I need to be, or it's best to be. And it's just a good habit, and it feels good. Feels good. I think so often. I made my bed this morning, and believe me, when I'm waking up first thing and I hear rain outside and I kind of got to pee and I want to do my coffee show and want to get started and want to get going and get racing and get chasing through life. Pam, I've heard that before. Think that what I have to do next is more valuable than making my bed or what have you, or stretching, or the habits I've ingrained. And again, your mind bounces, or at least mine does, first thing in the morning a lot. And that's where it was. And I slowed down and I said, hey, let's make the bed. Let's go through our routine. Let's make the coffee. Let's pour the water. Tell you what, that water's good. Somebody said good way to connect with your body too, the stretching. Yeah. I think I used to stretch and do those motions so quickly. And granted, I'm talking while I'm doing it, but I still can. You heard me groaning and breathing and going, yeah, it's important to feel your body and to appreciate even the aches and the pains and the the way it moves. Because we only get one, and your body's your vessel that carries your spirit, your thoughts through your day, through your life, through the next moment. So it's good to connect with the body too. But good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. My name is Ken Tracy, and this is Coffee with Ken. This is a little show. It is, what day is it? It's Thursday morning. I believe it's May. It was the 5th on Sunday, the 6th on Monday, the 7th Tuesday, the 8th Wednesday. It's May 9th. And, it's 5:49 a.m. Happy Thursday. It's a show I've been doing for quite some time. It is a show about me talking and kind of sharing some feelings and getting my day started and sharing the ups and downs we have in life. It's a show I started just about 5 years ago when I was living in a dark apartment, missing the woman of my dreams, struggling a whole bunch of ways and kind of crying out to the universe. I didn't know who I was talking to, but I kind of realize now, I was talking live on a social media platform, so maybe I was talking to my audience, but me just going live was a way to connect to the universe or to God or to my spirituality, and it kind of felt good. And I was doing it Saturday mornings, and people started watching, and my audience started growing, and then I switched platforms a couple different times, and here I am on Instagram doing it about 5 years later. So thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. For those that have been watching a while, it's not just a show about me talking. It's also a show about me sharing my love of coffee. And with that in mind, I have a nice hot cup of coffee in front of me. And it is self-talk. I am so excited to take it's really hot. Even, I don't know how long I've been going. 6-7 minutes. It's a long intro for me when I add my stretching to it and all my talking. But my cup of coffee is still piping hot. Thank you, Lord, for this piping hot cup of coffee. And I'm excited to take my first sip. My hope is wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you got a hot cup of coffee in front of you as well. Cheers to us. Oh, it's the hazelnut. Good morning. It's the hazelnut. It's nice. I actually, I'm staying at a buddy's till I head off. Cheers to you. Tight lines forever. A fisherman. A fisherman. Cheers to you, Pam. What was I saying? Oh, I'm staying at a buddy's till I go off on some crazy journey next Saturday. Next Saturday. I think that crazy journey, and I think most of my friends, probably about, it might be 50-50 and who's supportive and who's telling me, don't go that way, don't do that, don't do that. And it's funny, and I was thinking about it yesterday, how instinctively we all worry about things. And I believe it's back to the time when we were cavemen and we were worried the saber-toothed tiger would eat us, or we would freeze to death, or we would starve to death on our day or our journey. And I think because of that, we're still programmed to worry and to fear and to fret. And we have a lot of modern luxuries, cars, cell phones, refrigerators, furnaces, that make a lot of the worry, I don't want to say needless, but certainly less life and death, if you will. And I'm going on a big trip. I was offered a job a few weeks ago, and I'm a twice divorced dad, and I pay child support to 2 ex-wives, and I have 4 beautiful kids, and left a career of selling real estate about a year and a half ago. And I'd been a realtor for 17 years, and there were hard months and good months, and but I was managed to keep up as best I could. Some months it was just barely keeping your head above water. Some months you felt like you were surfing. But anyway, I left that career about a year and a half ago, and financial concerns are still out there, and responsibilities are still out there, and I've tried different jobs, and I've applied to different positions, and I've tried to rediscover myself. But as a guy in his mid-50s who was a realtor for 17 years and a stockbroker for 10 years before that, who always thought because he was fairly good at talking and should be in sales, I think I was miscast, if you will. And I think just because people generally respond well to you and you're good at talking doesn't mean you should be in sales necessarily. So I spent at least 27 years of my life in a career that I was only kind of okay at because I'm good at talking and people generally like me. But I didn't find it fulfilling, and I didn't feel that comfortable asking for the order, or looking for no, or eating rejection with a spoon. I just didn't. I don't know. I want to smile. I want to, hug people. I want to make people feel good. I want to give people good deals. I don't want to charge people anything if I can. I was talking to a buddy who was in the mortgage business, and I was talking about car sales. And the one thing I thought I could do fairly well at is car sales, because I do like cars, and I love the smell and the showroom and looking at them and sitting in them and what have you. So I thought I could do fairly well at that. But I was talking to my buddy, and I said, the one problem is I wouldn't want to, I think a lot of the profit the dealership makes and the pay that the salesman gets comes from how much the customer pays. And instinctively, I would want to give the customer the best deal possible, the very lowest price, and not charge them any commission. I'd feel guilty about it. And my buddy said, well, that's silly. And maybe it is, but it's the way I feel. And it's maybe part of the reason I wasn't, good at sales. I started out after college as a stockbroker. And I envisioned it as me helping make guys rich. Telling them a stock's going from 5 to 10 and having it happen and having them make money, and we're all rich and we're all making money and we're all feeling good. but a lot of the stocks I picked went from 10 to 5, and I didn't like it, and I felt bad, and I felt horrible, and I struggled with sleeping and anxiety and stress, and kind of rolled into substance abuse, mostly alcohol, pot a lot. I mean, mostly pot and alcohol. I drank heavily for 35 years. I mean, heavily. It's funny, I talk about it, and I wasn't there counting the beers. And there were some days I probably had 4 beers, and there were some days I probably had 15. So I averaged probably 8 beers a day for most of my adult life. And I mentioned that, and there's some people going, "Oh, you weren't even a drinker. You're just a beginner. That's nothing." I'm going, "Wow." I felt buzzed most of my life. Felt like something to me. How much do you guys drink? Not that it's a competition, but strange. And yeah, got a little thunder and lightning behind me. It's kind of cool. I don't know if you can hear it, but either way. So anyway, I think the alcohol and the pot was just a way to deal with the anxiety I was feeling, and the stress I was feeling, and the worry I was feeling, and the fear I was feeling. And really, until 5 years ago when I started Coffee with Ken, I didn't know there was other ways to deal with all that stuff other than drinking or maybe running even. I used to, run competitively, and I knew if I got a good hard workout in, that helped me feel a little better. And yeah, exercise is a good outlet for stress, but it's still, just an outlet. And I think if you can really dig in and probe around into the mind and into your thoughts and into your spirit, you can start to understand and maybe start repairing the damage that's done inside. Jason asked if I ever tried therapy. Yeah, I've seen a therapist several times. Most recently, I was trying to reconcile with my second wife, and I was going through some struggles. I'll tell you what, it was funny. I mean, I talked about this. I went in and saw the therapist. I was working at Target last year. That's really the only reason I own this red shirt, by the way, is because I was working at Target, and you got to wear red. But that's a little backstory that you don't need. But I was working at Super Target, stocking shelves, making $15.50 an hour. And let me tell you, even after paying reduced child support to 2 ex-wives, working full-time at Super Target, making $15.50, doesn't leave a whole lot of money for your own housing and car needs and social needs and anything else. And I'll let your imagination run wild. Eventually I'll share all the gory details because they're kind of funny. Carolyn wants to know why anxiety, from what? Just trying to understand. I think certain people are kind of anxious by nature. And I think I'll just say mental health. I think it's okay to discuss my own mental health. And I think for a guy that's 6'2" and was able to talk and was fairly good athletically, and most people generally liked, I was really insecure. I was really worried. I don't know. I read a book called Codependent No More. I think that was a life-changing book for me. And I don't think about it as often as I did as I was reading it. But I'll tell you, they call it aha moments. And every page I'd read a story or something and go, holy crap, that's the way I feel. Like you want to fix, change, save everybody. If I got a buddy that's struggling, I feel with him. And I want to solve his problem. And I want to help him in any way. And you end up doing that to the whole world, trying to change the world or save the world, but you can't even fix or save or change yourself. And, I was kind of a mess, and I was drinking and worrying about everything and feeling bad for everybody. And I don't know. I'd say it's a mental health issue. I think some of us struggle with some bad anxiety. And I know I did. And even as a little kid, I remember listening to the radio during the night, AM talk radio or news radio, to help me sleep. And I remember, in the early 90s, I went out to California and I got a cassette tape of some sounds of the waves. And I go, oh, I can listen to this as I go to sleep. Because without it, I'm in trouble and my mind is running wild. And I still listen to music. I don't do it on a cassette tape anymore, but not music, more like frequency. I don't know what they call solfeggio frequency. I'm mispronouncing that. But it's so nice because I'm 55. I have to go to the bathroom a couple times during the night. I'll wake up and hear this kind of drifting, hypnotic tones, and it's comforting and it helps me sleep. So, and sleep's good. So anyway, yeah, I've seen a therapist several times. I think that's good. I think for me, a lot of this is therapy, and I'm fortunate to have a good group of friends and a supporting and loving group of friends and family that care for me and they'll listen to me and do what they can. But there was a time last year, again, I was in the midst of a horribly painful second divorce, and was talking to a buddy who was giving me his valuable time. He's got a business, he's successful, he's got a family of his own and his own troubles, I'm sure. And I go, this is more than I can handle. This is more than I can handle. I was just left a career. I was just divorced. I was living in a house that was too expensive for me. I had stressors upon stressors. I had a tragedy in my family. I'll just leave it at that. And I said, this is more than I can handle. And I reached out, made an appointment with a therapist, kind of got assigned to it's hard to deal with mental health these days. Jason's Mortgage Zeus. He has a name. I've had a viewer the last few days who's fortunate to have his daughter over right now, who's sleeping. And his name's Jason. But where was I? Oh, I think the mental health, and I think there's a lot of shame associated and silliness and embarrassment associated with mental health. And maybe I think God puts us in our place in where we are for a reason. And I think God gave me the ability to talk, and the anxiety and the stress I had a schizophrenic uncle. I had a brother who took his life. I had a mom who struggled with a lot of anxiety and depression most of her life. And, my dad repressed his emotions and still does. And had a lot of 2 scoops of crazy in my family. And again, I think God puts us gives us our challenges for a reason. And I honestly think part of the reason that I'm able to share my story the way I do is to connect with others and to help others, and to let you realize that A, you're not alone, and B, it's okay. If you're struggling, and if you can't sleep, and if you're worried, and if you're questioning, and if you're doubting or worrying or what have you, and to share the coping mechanisms I've developed along certainly the last 5 years, but probably a little bit at a time. And I think I started drinking for a reason, to share my experiences with drinking and sobriety. And I started smoking pot for a reason, and share my reasons as a guy that was stoned most of his life, and a guy that doesn't do anything harder than caffeine anymore. And I don't know. I think I have a message to share, and an ability to share it, and a passion for it that gets me up every morning. I've been going live for 5 years on different platforms, but I don't think I've missed a show in 5 or 6 weeks. And again, I think you have to have a want or a passion or a desire or a need, in my case maybe, to do a little talking and to get, my day started off on the right foot. And I found that I don't know, stretching and drinking some coffee and talking to my phone is the right foot for me. Some people, the right foot is laying in bed and sleep, get an extra hour of sleep. But, I get that extra hour of sleep. I just do it at, I don't know, 9 o'clock at night while most people are up watching TV till 11 or doing whatever it is out at the bars or watching sports or reading a book maybe till 11. I like to go to bed at 8:30, lay there, do a little video editing. Might not be the healthiest habit, but it's the path I'm choosing or God chose for me. Because I'd like to grow my social media audience, and it is growing, and hopefully make a difference. Somebody said I was like Mr. Rogers for adults earlier, and I've heard that a bunch of times, and I think that's really neat because I was born in '68 and grew up I was born right before Sesame Street started, and Mr. Rogers started right about at that time, and I was a little kid that used to watch him and was calmed by his voice and his consistency and his kindness and his understated just demeanor, if you will. And so I take it as a compliment. And again, my first wife told me that, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. She'd started watching my show. She works at a hospital. She's a dietitian. She works at a hospital not too far from here. And one of her coworkers found out her ex-husband was Coffee with Ken and wanted one of my mugs. So I stopped by the hospital and said hey to my ex-wife and gave one of my ex-wife's friends or coworkers one of my mugs. She thought it was a bit of a celebrity. I'm not a celebrity. No, I don't want to be. It's fun. It feels good when people come up and say nice things. The other morning on Sunday, I had 2 people come up. I was in the midst of doing a live show, and I was sitting at a Starbucks, and a guy walked out and said, hey, it's Coffee with Ken, right? I watch your show. Great job. And he was with a couple kids that were just had finished a baseball game, and they thought it was neat that I was on a live show, and they came, and I talked to them for a couple minutes, and they were on live video. They thought that was pretty cool, so maybe it is pretty cool. I don't know, but I enjoy it. Hey, somebody followed me. I didn't know I would pick up followers on Instagram from doing a live show. I guess I don't know how all these social media platforms work. I started off on Facebook about 5 years ago, again, once a week. And I moved it over to TikTok about 2.5 years ago. Don't get me started about TikTok. I like to keep it positive. I'm kind of sour on TikTok right now. And the last few months, I was bouncing between here on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok, trying to find the right platform for me to go live. Sounded like Ernest Borgnine. But anyway, and right now I feel Instagram's the right way, and it puts your show or your message or your live out to a good audience. And obviously there's some good interaction we're having here, and I think that's important because otherwise it's just me talking. And why did you change your voice like that? He was my neighbor with his son Owen. I don't know what you mean. Good morning. But any advice for when you've lost a job twice within a year, trying to keep positive and get out of depression? Yeah. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Those jobs weren't for you. To heck with those jobs. You probably were only so good at them because you lost the jobs or you quit or you left them. So they weren't meant for you. Keep going. Don't get depressed. Get inspired. God gives you challenges to make you better, to make you stronger, to put you in a better position. Be positive. Go brush your teeth. You don't have to get the perfect job or fill up the bank account today because honestly, that's not going to happen. But if you're laying in bed, staring at your phone right now, feeling bummed, feeling depressed because you lost your job and you got bills to pay, let me tell you, I still got bills to pay. And I still got stuff. And we all still have stuff. And even if the guy across the street has a beautiful wife and a fancy car, I promise you he has stuff as well. So don't feel you're alone. Uh, so keep going. Get up out of bed, but be okay with your struggling. Be okay with your sadness. Be okay with your depression, but acknowledge it and go, okay, well, depression's not going to get me out of this. My most valuable asset is my determination, my positive spirit, and my goodwill. And I didn't mock his voice, Melgo. I didn't mock his voice. Melgo, you said some strange things to me. You said some strange things to me. You've been on my short list of people. I don't know. Yeah, Melgo, I don't need you saying that. I don't need you saying I mocked anybody's voice. When I find you again, don't expect to be on my lives anymore. You said some strange things to me, and I don't like that. So anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah, keep going. Keep going. Again, I think your positive attitude is your most valuable asset. People say time is, but if you don't have a good spirit and a good positivity and a what have you, you're not going to use your time in a valuable way. So if you're struggling and you're dealing with depression and you're facing challenges, know that you're not alone and know that we're all facing challenges and we're all going through struggles, and be okay with it, but don't stay there. Don't stay there. Think of things you're grateful for. I just heard the sound of rolling thunder, and thank God for that thunder because it's neat. And thank God for the lightning and the rain because they're neat as well. And thank God for the cup of coffee, and thank God for the water you're drinking, and thank God for, and you don't even have to thank God. I just say it and it's become part of who I am. But I tell you what, gratitude can turn your attitude around, and I'm not trying to rhyme, really quickly. And listen to positive affirmations. Start working on yourself. Get a little better every day, and don't expect to find the job today, but just keep going and keep moving forward. And no matter how tough it gets, because believe me, I know that life can get tough. Believe me, I know that life can get tough. But keep going, because life gets tough to teach you a lesson and to make you stronger and make you better. And yeah. Well, Malcolm, you said I mocked his voice. I don't know. I do that. I do that. See, Malgo, you're still dripping on me. And you have said some things before that have made me wonder, why is she saying that? But anyway, we'll keep you around, Melgo. I'm sure he's a great guy. He seems like a nice man. He said hi to me. I don't want to use my voice when I'm having a conversation. I have to change my voice. I was changing my voice to do both sides of a conversation a moment ago. And one of my watchers said, hey, I know that guy. Why are you mocking his voice? See, I'm doing it just there. I have to change my voice to show that it's a conversation, because one is my voice. And if I used my voice for the other side of the conversation, it would be confusing. So anyway, keep going. Keep going. For anybody out there and anybody worried about anything, anybody hates their job or is mad at their wife or is worried about a bill, or keep going and try and do it with a smile on your face, because life's a lot more fun when you're smiling, and people like you better and engage you better if you're smiling. And you go into Starbucks and ask for that third refill. I'll tell you what, if you do it with a smile, the baristas start liking you and know your name and are excited to see you. when you come in. Somebody said, I sent a question earlier. Can you address that for me? You're going to have to give me a little more detail than that. I don't have somebody taking notes about the questions you send in, and I don't have a way to flip through the questions. So what am I up to today? RJ wants to know. Well, I'm going to drink some coffee. I'm going to post a couple videos. I'm going to go to the gym. I have an appointment. I'm going to get to my second wife's house and love on my babies for a few hours this afternoon, and go to a track meet. My daughter Morgan has a big track meet tonight, and looking forward to that. And cheer my heart out. It's probably her last meet of the year, unless she runs state qualifying time, which I don't think is in her future tonight. But it's still a big honor for a freshman to be running sectionals track meet. And I'm proud of her in her first year doing so well. And she's a natural athlete, so I'm not surprised. I knew she was fast. And looking forward to that. So that's my day. And again, I'm also going to keep moving forward. I'm going on my big journey on next Saturday. And I got stuff to do to align my ducks and to get mentally prepared and ready. So, yeah, one more sip of coffee. If whoever asked me to address that question wanted to repeat the question, I'd be happy to. Can I give a big sip? Well, I can right now because it's not that hot. They asked something along like how to be stone cold trader without emotions affecting them. I don't know. I'm an emotional guy. And I couldn't be a stone cold trader. I can't be stone cold at anything. I cry at a sad movie. I cry when I don't know. I cry every day. So I don't have any advice for being a stone cold trader and not letting emotions affect you. Let your emotions affect you. I think God gives us our emotions, and I got my emotions from my mom, who was super emotional. And although sometimes it feels like a curse, I think it's a blessing, and it is. I like them. Yeah. Sometimes I wish I wouldn't worry so much or fret so much or be sad at times, but I'm also the happiest guy I know and the most outgoing guy I know, and I like that. How to keep emotions. I'd love to hear what you think makes a stone cold successful trader and how to keep emotions out of trading. No, I don't know. I don't know. I had some big runs. I used to trade and be a stockbroker and traded my own account. Okay, how to be a stone cold trader and keep your emotions out. Turn off CNBC, turn off the news. Don't watch the stocks so closely. Because if you watch CNBC, they put a million different experts out there that cloud your mind and confuse you. And if you watch your stocks trade so closely, you're going to, 10 minutes seems like a day, and a day seems like a month. And if you stare at your stocks trading, if you're right about the position you took, I think time will show that and time will reflect it. 2 years ago, I was bearish on the market, and I thought Peloton, it's the bike company. They make those stationary bikes with people telling you what to do. And the stock was trading at like $150 a share, and it was coming out of COVID, and everybody was trapped at home, and you couldn't go to the gym, and people were working out from home, and everybody that was thinking about exercising bought a Peloton bike. And so their sales jumped, and all the analysts, which I don't trust analysts at all. I don't think those analysts know how to do anything except they can't pick which way a stock's going, but they can tell you, they can make it sound smart. Anyway, the stock was trading at 150, and I was buying puts on it, which means I was betting against it, and hoping the stock would go down. But when you buy a put, you have only a certain amount of time to be right on that position. Or when you buy a call, you also only have a certain amount of time. And uh, although I was incredibly right because the stock went from 150 to 3, my timing wasn't right, and my options lost all their value, and I lost my money. So I don't know how to be a stone cold trader. I have my thoughts, but I'd say distance yourself from the trade and don't watch it so closely and don't watch the news. Somebody asked how they get up early for work if they aren't morning people and they have a job to do in the morning. Well, let me ask you, why aren't you a morning person? What does it mean to not be a morning person? I mean, I know what it means, sort of, but why can't you be a morning person? Maybe you can. Maybe instead, I could have laid in bed. I was comfortable in bed, and I was worried, and I was hiding under the sheets, and I was hearing the rain. I could have laid there too, but I didn't want to. And I think you need to make a choice, and you got to say, hey, I want to be a morning person. Morning's a great time of the day. But if you want to paint yourself as not a morning person, you're going to have a hard time getting to your early morning job. Become a morning person. If you got to go to work early, become a morning person and wake and say a prayer and think of things you're grateful for and make your bed and get started with your day. And I talk about this a lot because I don't drink anymore, and I stopped drinking 2.5 years ago. I was a drinker. I was a drinker, and I read these people talk about wanting to quit drinking, but they're struggling. And honestly, I think most people struggle with quitting drinking because they don't really want to quit drinking. And I think that offends some people to say, but I think it's true. I think once you decide to be a morning person, you can become a morning person. And if you really, truly want to stop drinking, you'll stop drinking. And I'm not judging them, but because I get it. I mean, I kind of wanted to stop drinking for 10 years, but I struggled with it because I didn't really want to stop drinking. I wanted to keep drinking. I wanted the taste of that cold Heineken and that buzz it gave me. And, I was living life in a haze because I wanted to live life in a haze because I didn't want to fix this guy or these issues, and was burying it with alcohol. So my advice to the guy with the early job that says he's not a morning person, become a morning person, or get a later job, But I'd recommend becoming a morning person. Go to bed earlier, wake up, and even if your mind's not there, start thinking about things you're grateful for, and say a little prayer, and thank God for the good night's sleep and the sheets and the bed, and then make your bed because it's a sign of respect to yourself and the universe. And I don't know, keep moving and pour your coffee and get started and get charging into your day. And in 2 months you're going to be a morning person, and you're going to start doing stretching in the morning and jumping jacks and go for a run, and your life's going to change. But it's not going to change overnight. But the first part about it is you got to change your image of yourself and become that person that you want to be, and really want to be that person, whether it's a morning person or a athlete or a gym rat or a bookworm or a what have you. But you got to want to become it, and then start taking the steps to become the person you want to be. So, one more sip of coffee. Good morning, Chef Tim. Thank you for hopping on. I'm just about to sign off. I've been talking for 45 minutes already. My coffee is tepid and running low. My buddy and his son are going to be coming down, get their day started soon. I don't want to be doing my live show while they're doing that. And I'm looking forward to my day. Do I have any fears? I'm afraid of everything. I'm afraid of everything. I have so many fears. I have so many fears. I've just gotten good at putting my fears on the back burner and charging forward anyway.
But yeah, no, I'm terrified of everything. That's what anxiety is. It's a constant fear of what could happen. Uh, Now I kind of laugh at it. Uh, but yeah, I'm terrified of everything. But I just catch myself feeling afraid and going, hey, that's probably not going to happen. Or hey, I've been through this before. And hey, I'm going to be okay. And hey, let's go get them today. That's what they say. Bravery or courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action in the face of those fears. Uh, so yeah, I have fears. I've just decided I take action anyway. And yeah, so. Well, thank you all for joining today. I so appreciate you. It's Thursday morning. I hope your week's going well, and I hope your coffee is hot. And if it's not, get a refill. I hope you're excited about your day. Hope you had a great night's sleep. Um, yeah, I hope you're feeling good. And yeah, you're loving yourself, and I hope you're forgiving yourself. And as always, I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.